Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Radio Free Urbanism, a podcast about urbanism and stuff. I am your host, Alex Williams, and I'm joined by two wonderful, delightful, great people here. Let's start off with Ethan Myers.
Welcome, everybody. And Alex, I gotta say, there wasn't quite the delay between the urbanism and stuff.
Do you want me to? We'll try it again.
Let's run it back.
First, I'll introduce Nick. Nick.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
yeah.
That's me. I'm Nick Laporte.
Yeah, he is. Okay, so this is a podcast about urbanism and stuff.
That was beautiful.
You guys didn't want to. I was hoping you'd join in, but you know what? That's okay. We'll move on. Thanks to Skitch for joining us in the live chat here. We'll wait and see if anybody else chimes in. But if you would like to join the live chat, you can go to patreon.com/radiofreeurbanism. And for as little as $1 a month, you can join us in the live chat, in the Discord server, see this episode as it happens, and also hang out with us in Discord and bring us news stories and stuff like that. Anyways, let's get on with the show. Nick, you have a thing to say.
I need to talk to any Vancouverites listening. If you live in Vancouver, the city by-election is coming up, and I don't want to tell you what to do, but if you care about street safety and housing, there's only one person you need to choose and put on your ballot. So I'm just got to say, it's Lucy Maloney. So I just want to share this and check this out.
And Advocate has announced she's running for Vancouver City Council in the upcoming by-election.
I'm running for City Council with One City to help build a Vancouver that everyone can afford, where everyone feels safe and where everyone belongs. We don't want to focus on individual drivers' responsibility when we can focus on the systemic factors that prevent deaths and injuries on our roads.
We know we've got many tools in our toolbox to reduce deaths and injuries, and they're not being implemented.
What we really need is to build our streets and our intersections more safely so that people outside cars and inside cars are kept more safe. I'm ready to do the work to get out and door knock and meet as many people as I can.
So that's Lucy Maloney. So yeah, if you live in Vancouver, it's going to be on April 5th. It's a Saturday. Early voting has already started. Get out there and vote for her if you care about our streets, because it seems like she might be the only person to do that on our council. We lost Christine Boyle, who was part of the same party, One City Vancouver, and she, along with Pete Fry, who does do some of that, but Christine Boyle was kind of the heart and soul of bringing forward safe street measures. And we lost her. She's part of the BC MLA or BC legislature now. She's an MLA, which good for her, but sucks for the city. So yeah, Lucy Maloney's been fighting for this stuff for years in the city, and yeah, that's what I want to say. Vote for Lucy Maloney, April 5th.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, and it's exciting to see these things come to the forefront in municipal politics more recently. I feel like a lot of the time, a lot of our city councilors are just kind of there. Sometimes I call these people hobbyticians. They're just kind of, like, it's fun to run a race and it's kind of exciting to be in politics and stuff. And they don't necessarily have like a reason, like a thing that they're really fighting for. They might just be angry, or honestly, some people might just not have much else going on. And depending what part of the country you're in and what party you're running with, sometimes it feels like you just get a phone call every 4 years from the Liberals, the NDP, or the Conservatives. They know you're not going to win, but they want to fill their roster, so they just pick some rando. And it's good to see that Lucy is not like a random person.
She's not random.
She cares about this.
It was very
stuff.
Calculated. No.
Yeah. I think
it's exciting to see candidates like that in our local elections.
Yeah. And beyond the local elections, Canada is in the midst of our federal election right now. Election day is on April 28th. Get out and vote. Whoever you vote for, whoever you want to support, get out and vote. In Calgary, I have this stat off the top of my head. Here in Calgary, in our last municipal election, we had 46.4% voter turnout in our last municipal election. You guys, less than half of the people who can vote voted. And that excludes all of the kids, all of the people who have permanent residency status, all of the international students, all of the people who cannot vote. Out of all the people who could vote, less than half of them voted in the last municipal election.
That's crazy.
I think it's, this is the bare minimum for participating in democracy. These things affect us every single day, especially on the municipal level, but also on the provincial and on the federal levels. These things really, really matter.
You want to talk about minimums?
Go vote.
Our last by-election had 11% turnout. So I think like that's something to remind people, like your vote does matter if only 11% of people who are eligible actually came out to cast a ballot, which is crazy. But speaking of Calgary, I think somebody here on the show is going to be part of, hopefully part of the politics over there. Very soon.
Yeah.
Municipal.
Yeah. I'm running for city council. This is true. And that takes a lot of work. How much do you want me to say about what changes are coming here?
Well, I think we need to talk about
everything.
Changes to the show that's going to be happening in the near future.
Yeah. We got some changes coming to the show. I will be leaving the show, more or less officially. It's happening. It takes a lot of work to run a campaign, to show up and to meet people. And as we get moving into like the really intense campaign season, especially post federal election, all of my time will be spent door knocking, meeting with different people, having lunch with different people. This is the time that we record this show is prime door knocking time. So I will be departing from all of your presence, and then hopefully you will be able to gossip about me on this podcast whenever something's going
Alex
on in
guy.
That's all it's going to be. You know, selfishly, I hope you lose. But for the sake of people in Calgary, I hope you do win, because I think you'd be absolutely fantastic in city council. Yeah, that's. I'm excited.
Our very own running for city council is just something incredible.
Yeah. It's super exciting.
And Ethan's going to be the youngest city councilor in Portland.
Wishful thinking.
Ethan, go for it, man. But yeah,
2 years.
You know, we're doing great things. We're talking about great things. We're bringing the issues to the forefront. We have a great shot at winning this election this year in Ward 11 in Calgary. If you are in Calgary and you want to volunteer on a campaign, stuff like this does not happen without help. So come on out, and if you don't come on out, at the very least, vote.
Yes, get out there.
Yeah,
absolutely. So changes to the show, since Alex is sadly leaving. I'm sure he'll be back from time to time, but we're actually going to be finding someone to fill his shoes, and that person is Sully from Sullyville. Will be joining us on the show as a regular host. So that'll be starting on Friday the 11th. The show will be moved to Friday. We'll keep you updated on how that goes. But yeah, that's the plan right now. The show is going to be on Friday starting on the 11th. But next week, we'll be joined by Clarence from Street Films.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to give like a little bit of a story, maybe talk about the Coliseum battle that we had between all of our previous co-hosts on the show.
we had a fight to the death.
Yeah,
it was quite gory. Actually, we did it March Madness style. So there was a whole bunch of different brackets, and
I was thinking we just made them play Fortnite.
Yeah, if there are a few urbanist YouTubers who you don't see make any content lately, it's because they were completely embarrassed in this battle for the Radio Free Urbanism fight. We'll maybe we'll release those tapes eventually. We'll have to wait and see.
That'll be for the patrons, though.
That'll be for the patrons. Yeah. Well, hey, let's hop onto the stories. Ethan, you've got a story.
Let's do that. We've got some interesting stories today, and we're going to start out with our first one that has been breaking since this morning. I wake up, I check my phone. Normally I don't get a whole lot of news about Amtrak, but today, whole front page of my news was just covered with Amtrak, and I was a little confused. I'm like, what's going on? So Amtrak's rolling stock, aka the cars that you as a passenger sit in and enjoy, is made up of quite an eclectic collection of different cars. And one of these is called the Horizons. These were built in the 80s and have been running service for just about 80s and 90s, and they've been running service for about 30 to 40 years, but mainly on regional lines. So this isn't the long distance train cars that you're seeing. This is the regional trains. You'll see these on a lot of regional services. But the problem is that Amtrak was doing some inspections on some of these cars early in the morning, safety inspections. Just got to make sure that they're good to go and won't break down on you midway through the ride. It's like a pre-check flight clearance for airplanes, but instead this is for trains. And what they noticed was a significant amount of rust on multiple different train cars of these horizons in multiple different regions. So Amtrak put out a large notice today saying that all of the Horizon cars have been pulled from service, meaning that Amtrak's fairly limited rolling stock when it comes to their passenger cars has gotten significantly smaller, especially for regional trains. And some routes that are pretty much only operated by Horizons have either been completely cut off and stopped service, or have been completely bus substituted. So, for example, one of the biggest routes, the Cascades, that runs from Salem all the way up to Vancouver, British Columbia, is almost entirely Horizons right now, but they've had to completely stop the service for the most part, other than the couple of international trains that use a different type of rolling stock. So, for the most part, the Cascades is buses. Other services that have been affected have been the Downeaster, which is in Maine, that runs from Boston to Portland, Maine. The new service between St. Paul and Chicago has been fully canceled. But there's still ways to get between them through Amtrak on the long distance. But the short service is the Borealis is what it's called, has been canceled for the time being. And this rolling stock shortage is coming at a very inconvenient time, because Amtrak is nearly a year and a half away from getting some new rolling stock. So there's been a lot of questions about what they're planning to do in order to make up this gap, rather than just doing buses. And it's been kind of interesting seeing what, people have been speculating what Amtrak is going to do, but it's really kind of a crazy realization that, they definitely needed to get rid of some of this old rolling stock and move some of the newer stuff. But I mean, it's just a little too early for this to happen, unfortunately.
It's crazy. Like, it just not happened all of a sudden, but they noticed all of a sudden and just took them out. There was no incident, right? It's just a notice of maintenance where they saw all this rust.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They noticed it through some safety checks for their trains. So it wasn't like there was one big incident that kicked it off, but there has been some other speculation too. Not revealing my sources, that it was like severely bad rust that pretty much the train cars would crumple.
Right. So I'm going to sound like a pumpkin right now, but what's the difference between train cars and train coaches?
There really isn't a difference. I'm just using special terminology here.
Okay, because it does say a total of 70 cars, 61 coaches, and 9 food service cars.
Yeah, so the coaches are the all passenger cars. The coaches are the coaches are all the passenger cars.
Oh yeah.
But the food service ones are like the dining cars / business.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there've been some speculation that they're going to replace some of the services like the Cascades. They're going to be going to Sound Transit and Metrolink, which is Seattle and Los Angeles's commuter systems, and borrowing some of their cars in the meantime for their service.
This is interesting to me. Here in Calgary, there is no way if like another transit service in the area, not that there really are many other transit services in the area, if they had a failure, we wouldn't have really anything extra to give them, right? Like what we have is it. We don't have much redundancy built into our system, and you're talking about some of these some of the train routes becoming bus routes for now, right? In the meantime, and this is why it matters to have multiple redundant systems, right? It can be within a transit system that when a train fails, there is a busing option, right? Or at least a busing option that can be rapidly deployed, right? In the case of this train being down for this time, this is the option that we will roll out for that, right? Having those redundancy plans is critical. Then, as the broader transportation system, it's also very important to have these redundancies. If my car doesn't start in the morning, I want to know that there is a public transit bus that might take longer for me to get to work, but I will be able to get to work. If in the morning I normally bike, but it's a little bit cold out or it's a little bit icy out and I haven't put my tires on, I want to know there's a transit service or a car that I can rent or whatever. It's important to have these redundancies in our system so that no matter what, people are able to continue to get around our cities.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Huge proponent of that, of just having those redundancies. Even just like, hey, you got a flat tire on your bike. It's good to have an option, right?
Yeah, Nick's classic bus tow truck for his bike.
Exactly.
The bus tow truck is back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
who else's tow truck can also bring along 100 people with it? Come on.
Oh, buses can carry 100 people. What kind of buses you guys got in Vancouver? I'm impressed.
Huge flexi buses. Oh, they pack them in like sardines.
You got to really
pack
them.
People go on a bus. I'd think like between 50 and 100.
I think if you crush load an articulated bus, I think max is like maybe like 60 to 80.
Okay, 60 to 80 people.
That's still a lot of people, though.
That's
Good luck getting your
bike
bike on that one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bus tow truck supremacy from Austin in the chat.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But yeah, redundancy. That's why redundancy matters. Now, how does something like this happen, and how can Amtrak prepare for something like this? Like, is this something that they should have been able to see coming, or was it just kind of something horrible happened?
Yeah, so the real issue here was kind of just deferred maintenance over this time, and also a lack of just getting new rolling stock as well, too. They've been in the process of getting it, but a lot of these trains, a lot of Amtrak's rolling stock is well over 30 years old for the coaches. So these Horizons have been running for well over 30 years, most of them, and they've had their mechanical issues in the past. But I mean, with this level of rust, it is quite concerning to see, especially, and these Horizons may not actually ever come back into service just because of the level of rust that we're seeing on multiple ones that have been in existence. And having these issues as well, too, without ordering new rolling stock means that, of course, you're going to run into shortages of trains.
Not good. Don't want that.
Not good at all.
Yeah, and they don't. And of course, ordering new rolling stock takes a significant amount of time, right? Like there isn't a rolling stock store that somebody can walk into and pull it off the shelf and say, well, I had to go out, buy a new train. It cost us this much, but we got it now. Like, this takes a significant amount of time to acquire new rolling stock.
Time and money. And I mean, it would be a little bit easier if there were there are some rules in the US when it comes to ordering new rolling stock that would make it significantly easier if they were, rolled back. However, I mean, regardless, you're still going to be waiting quite a bit on getting new rolling stock. And Amtrak had that in mind. They're currently acquiring venture sets from Siemens Mobility for a lot of their regional trains. So some of the other routes, like Amtrak's Midwest routes, they did use the Horizons, but they've been using more of the venture coaches. So you're not dealing with as bad of, cancellations on those routes. Yeah. But, I mean, it's the routes that, you're going to really have that issue with that don't have the new rolling stock yet. The Arrows are supposed to be coming to the Cascades in about a year and a half. So they're going to have to scramble to either, one, patch up the Horizons as best they can to run them for the next year and a half, or two, contract out to commuter railroads to see if they can borrow some train cars and coaches.
Oof. Well, good luck to Amtrak. I guess we'll keep up to date on this.
They're going to need all the luck they can get right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, Nick. Tell us your stuff.
Yes, this is coming out of Paris. So Parisians have voted in a referendum on Sunday to pedestrianize a further 500 of the city's streets, giving fresh momentum to the efforts by the French capital's left-leaning town hall to curb car usage and improve air quality. These damn woke leftists want to improve air quality. What the hell? Some 65.96% of Parisians voted in favor of the measure, while 34% rejected it. And this showed that only 4.06 of voters turned out in the consultation, which was organized by the municipality. So this is crazy. This is fantastic. But, we've seen other type of referendums go through Paris, one of which was the ban on e-scooters and a decision last year to triple parking charges for large SUVs, which we did talk about on the show. So this is going to eliminate 10,000 more parking spots in Paris and adding to the 10,000 removed since 2020. And the city's 2 million residents will be consulted on which streets will become pedestrian areas. And this is really interesting. It's crazy to see the transformation in Paris. Like, I was there last summer, and I'm very fortunate to have experienced what they've done already. Is it like Amsterdam or Utrecht or something? No, it's not. It's not there yet, but it is way better than probably any place I've been to in North America. I think most definitely better. It's incredible what they've done, and I'm really excited to see it be taken further. Like one of the places that I went to that I thought was really fantastic was near the Seine, and the things that they did along the water. I'm trying to find here in this video so you can actually see what it looks like, because thinking about all the space we have for cars is incredible. What you can do with all of that space. It's incredible how much I don't even know where it is in the video. It is what it is.
You got the one wheel mafia rolling through here. My goodness.
Dude, those things are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But along the Seine, there are these roadways that used to be open to cars, essentially motorways that you could drive along, and they've opened them up for people, which I think is fantastic when you do a lot more of that. Because especially in the summer months, even if these are temporary, I feel like, oh, here it is. Even in the summer months, just having it for that is fantastic. To think like here in Vancouver, we can't even get one single block of pedestrianized street. And meanwhile, in Paris, they're going ahead and deciding that, you know what, let's do 500 streets. Why not that? It makes me sad a little bit. So I'm just hoping that we can inherit some of this energy, this quote unquote left leaning, wanting cleaner air energy for our cities.
It is always so wild to me when people call this stuff left leaning. It costs us less money. It's a safe, fun, efficient way to get around our cities. It's weird. It's weird when stuff like this gets partisanized.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it just comes back to the thing that we talk about. Like, so much of this stuff is fiscally responsible too, in many ways. It's a lot cheaper to move people when they're on bikes. Way cheaper. Like we brought up a few weeks ago in Calgary. What was it like? It cost the city 1 cent or something per kilometer traveled versus like $1.29 in a car. They
bring absolutely massive savings for cities. I mean,
and boost businesses too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Business owners won't listen to you on that one, though. Obviously, if you build a bike lane, it's going to kill your business.
Obviously.
Well, I think a lot of our problems come from communication issues, right? Like I feel like a lot of the time our cities will be like, yeah, build a bike lane here. It's going to be awesome. And it's like, but it's different. So of course somebody's going to be worried about it, right? Obviously, right? It's a change. If things are going okay now, or you're struggling now, and then you change something, you're kind of thinking like, well, is it going to be worse? And I think a lot of the time we fail to communicate actually how things are going to be better, and how this might help, right?
The carrots.
Yeah. The carrots.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's about showing people on the ground and actually experiencing it. I think that can make a big difference. And it's hard to convey that, even just showing somebody a video. Like, I've obviously been to Europe and seen a lot of the urbanism there and shared videos. Fortunately, some of my family members, my mom watched my whole Netherlands bike tour. She watched all the videos.
Oh,
well, that was fun. I'm glad
that was fun.
Yeah, Nick had some really amazing insights. Wonderful. Thanks, Nick, for joining us today. Anyways, back to you, Ethan.
Yeah. It honestly, like, cities that make these choices have been, showing the massive benefits of actually converting to having excellent people first infrastructure for their cities.
Yeah.
And honestly, Paris has been a really good leader with that. They've been doing all these referendums. We've talked about quite a few of them just in the year and a half that we've been doing this show. And I mean, out of any like major city in the world, Paris has really been stepping up with the pedestrian infrastructure and really trying to focus away more from cars and more towards people, not just with the street plans, but also with the major additions they did to their metro system, especially for the Olympics.
Yeah. Anyways, Nick, you were saying your mom watched your videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, she wants to go check out the Netherlands now. She's kind of gotten interested in the whole urbanism thing, and I'm starting to like creep into her brain rent free. The urbanism start to get in there, which is really cool. Even though she lives in a relatively small city in Ontario that's pretty rural-ish and is car dependent for the most part. She even got an electric bike to just cruise around on the trails there, which is neat. Yeah, it's what I was saying was basically it's about showing people what it is actually like, and without doing that, it's hard to really put that on the ground and get people to change their minds about it if they don't know what it's actually like being there,
Yeah.
And that's what I would love to do. I want to bring my dad who works in Windsor across from Detroit in a factory that makes car parts. He's been there for like almost 30 years. I want to take him to the Netherlands. He's like the most car brain person I know. And I want to I'll be like, Dad, I'll pay for the whole trip. Just come with me for 1 week and just see what it's like. And I just want to see that if there's a transformation, maybe not. Maybe you'll think it's all this conspiracy or some nonsense. I don't know.
Well, and you know what? You don't even have to do what Paris is doing, which is creating this open streets thing where it's primarily for pedestrians and cyclists and things like that. You don't even have to do that. All we need to do is make it possible for people other than people who have cars to get around, right? It's about options. That's all. Like that is what we're talking about. We're not talking about closing streets. We're talking about creating options.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the primary goal of everything that I talk about.
I want to close streets. That's not.
I honestly think that we gotta move cars down the totem pole, because they are quite literally. I mean, when we use the phrase car dependency, I mean, we're not using it lightly. I mean, in North America, it is cars, and then there is everything else, and it's probably going all the way to the bottom floor of my building here with my other hand. But I mean, it's really just putting everything on a level playing field to some degree.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, a lot of our smaller, less used streets within our cities could definitely be better as pedestrian zones. I mean, if cars aren't using them, maybe pedestrians might.
Mm-hmm.
Just giving even a temporary change to the road might lead to that permanent change and making the city just a little bit better.
But like they say, when you're used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. And that's a lot of it, I think, too. And, when you talk about politics, a lot of this stuff is vibes based, and people aren't interested in the data. People don't know that driving their car costs everybody more. They don't even know that it costs them more a lot of the times, except for the fact they think, it's some, shadow tax that's making the price of their gas go up or something like that.
And sometimes they don't care.
Yeah. But it's also the way, again, that we communicate these things and the way that we've built our cities over time, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have a lot of work to do, not just I was talking to some friends the other day, and they're getting older, and they were talking about their frustrations of how difficult it is for them to get to their grocery store. And they said, whatever happened to the corner store? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, it's illegal. In a lot of cities in North America, it is illegal to build stores in proximity to people's homes.
Yeah.
And that is a huge issue. Mm-hmm. And it's affecting people from all socioeconomic backgrounds. It's affecting people on all different age groups. And so, I think it's not just the streets that we should be talking about, but also what we allow in our communities, right? Like, why not allow a bakery to open up shop?
It's funny when you look at old neighborhoods that actually have those stores are so popular. I know even in London, Ontario, there's a few places, like there's one place called the Bag Lady, which is close to downtown in one of the old neighborhoods. Fantastic little cute restaurant. People love it. I love it. Last time I was in London, I went there. Here in Vancouver, there's lots of places like that, different cafes that are kind of scattered throughout the city. Arbutus Cafe. There's like this one place called Emperor Store or something off Quebec. I don't know. Anyway, those places are always great. It's just wild that we don't allow them anymore, even if it's just some small little store that just offers a few knickknacks.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything big, but I mean, if you can put a small little essential business like a bakery, coffee shop, corner store, anything along those lines, you can really, amplify just the overall walkability of a neighborhood. I mean, it doesn't take that much.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nice to live next to those essentials and those community places. I was having coffee with somebody this morning at a cafe that's a few blocks away. It's not right next to my house, but it's a few blocks away. I walked down there, had coffee with this guy, and I saw in there a couple people come in while I'm chatting away who I recognized, whether from the bus or from the walks that I go on or things like that. These community spaces that really bring people together. I think we need more of that, and I think we need to talk about how we can encourage that. But alas, should we get on to some listener mail?
Listener mail.
I think we shall.
What do we got here? Ethan, go ahead.
Yes, we got our first message from Skitch, who is in the live chat, and she says, what is something you'd like to explore in your city that you haven't gotten to yet? Let's start out with Nick.
Oh, geez. That's interesting. I'm one of those people where, like, when I moved somewhere, I moved to Vancouver like 7, 8 years ago. I get on my bike and I just go kind of explore everything. I've been everywhere, every square inch of the city. I feel like I've kind of seen. Come back to me if somebody else has got one. I got to think about it for a minute.
All right. I have one. This was a hard one for me. I've lived in Calgary my entire life, especially like I grew up in South Calgary, a little in the southwest, a little in the southeast, and so this was a tricky one for me because when I moved out of home, I originally lived up in Brentwood in Calgary, so I explored up there, and I ride my bike around and I go on walks with different people and stuff. But I finally found. I was thinking. I was like, where have I not explored? And you know what? I am going to say this is honestly like this. This took a lot of work. I'll share my screen. I'll share. Let's see. Right here. Okay, I'm gonna say Confederation Park it's kind of north central Calgary. This whole area here. I actually, and you can see it in some of my YouTube videos. When I was sitting in the front of my friend's cargo bike, we actually biked down 24th Ave, and then biked through here and up here. And I think we came up here. This is where we came out. So you can see that in some of my YouTube videos. That is my only experience in Confederation Park. My grandfather is buried in Queen's Park Village, though, so I have spent time over here. But then just there's this little gap here that I'm like, I guess I don't know that much about that. Everywhere else in Calgary, I've spent a decent amount of time hanging around. I've lived all over the city, so yeah, I'd say Confederation Park. That's what we're gonna go with. That's my answer. Do you have one in mind now, Nick?
I'm looking at a map. I'm like, I've been everywhere. But I forgot one. Is places, which are speakeasies. I've only been to one ever in my life, which was here in Vancouver. And I find them so fascinating. I just learned about one recently that's on Main Street, that the front, it just looks like an old like insurance office or something. And I just love that these places can just keep in business because people know about them. Like, I had no idea that was there. I've walked by many times. I've been to establishments that are right next to it, but didn't know it was there. Just found out. I gotta go check out more speakeasies in the city because I know there's like a speakeasy economy here. There's quite a few of them, and it's just they're really fun. And I find they make this kind of treasure hunt-esque-ness to the city, which is kind of cool. So maybe I should do like a tour of the speakeasies.
Yeah, that would be cool, honestly.
Yeah. What about you, Ethan?
Yeah, so I'm still kind of exploring a lot of Portland. I mean, I only moved here like 6 months ago, but I've gotten out to quite a bit of the city, I gotta say proudly. But there's one neighborhood that I still really want to check out, and it's called Hollywood, and it's off of 42nd Street on the or 42nd Avenue on the east side of town, and it's a really old school walkable neighborhood that is just kind of wedged to the east of town. It's really kind of this wonderful neighborhood. Lots of cool old architecture over there. Here, I'll pull it up. You can kind of see on my screen that I'm sharing now. There is the old Hollywood Theater over here. Why can't I find it today? But it's quite this like classic old school theater. And honestly, I need to see some movies here because it is it's one of those awesome old school movie theaters that just like, look at that. I mean, come on. I'm a big architecture fan and I really love old school movie theaters as well too. And this really has the juice going for it.
That's awesome. I love that.
That is super, super cool. Yeah, I also want to mention Willie made a comment. He joined us here today. The visual that goes from grids to sprawling neighborhoods is scary. So actually, this is kind of something interesting. You can see there's an era aspect to it as well as a geographic, like the actual physical geography of the city here. So here's a map of Calgary with the elevation overlaid on top of it. So this is kind of interesting. So down here on the east side, you can see it's pretty much flat. Like it's very prairies out here. And that's where you have kind of this more strict adherence to the grid. And then up here, where it kind of gets into hills and some ravines and valleys, it kind of starts getting a little bit wonky up here. And it's also, of course, impacted by the era of these neighborhoods, right? You can see the spirals and such. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting when you look at a map. There's like these different things, both like the tastes that people have, but also where it is and what kind of housing they're building, and the parks and ravines and things that you're working around at the same time. So yeah, I've long wanted to make a full proper video on this aspect, on the way that we've built our city over the years and the influences that have gone into the shapes of our neighborhoods. Yeah, because I don't know, it's just kind of a fascinating, nerdy thing, but good catch on that, Willie. The contrast is quite stark.
Adds a lot of cities in North America are like that, with
Yeah.
the center core's got the grid pattern and the rest is just sprawling super strode blocks. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But do we have what's our next question there, Nick?
We've got one here from Jen Hall. Think of all the train rides you've ever been on. What's one of the best views you've seen on one of those rides, and where was it? Anybody?
Ethan?
I could always start. I got some footage here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get that pulled up. But I'm actually going to say it's one of the most common routes I've taken on Amtrak. It is the Coast Starlight between Oxnard and San Luis Obispo. And if you can see this view, this is some of the coastal view that you get when you take the route. Of course, I do have a bit of camera shake here, but
You got to stick the phone right on the window.
Oh, this is my camera.
Oh,
but
yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You can't do that. Oh yeah. It's so nice
gorgeous
down there. Oh my God.
That's gorgeous.
Oh, see, the coast just gets more and more beautiful the more south you go, it seems like.
I don't know. You've got a pretty nice
It's
coast.
nice, sure.
BC's
but like you
coast
go,
is gorgeous.
you go down to like Oregon.
Dude, go north a little
Beautiful.
bit.
Go farther down to California. Holy smokes. I haven't been to SoCal, so I mean, I got to figure that out. Maybe.
It's gorgeous. I gotta say that I love the Oregon coast, and I gotta see the BC coast as well too.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that route there. Some other highlights. The California Zephyr through Colorado is pretty incredible, and the Empire Builder going through Glacier National Park is also very spectacular.
Looks.
I'm a sucker for trains going through mountains. What can I say?
I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Come on. Yeah, I know. I've been to some trains in Switzerland, which were really nice, but like nothing like crazy. I mean, I showed it on the show a while ago, which was in Japan, going by Mount Fuji on that train, just being like, boom, huge, the snow caps, blue sky day, just unreal. That was probably my favorite.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
How about you, Alex?
I think I've shared this one on the show before. This is, I think the Vale of Rydal in Wales. It's a train. The train departs from Aberystwyth. Let me share my screen here. And it's just like these gorgeous views of these green valleys. So let me get this here for you. All right. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
This is absolutely stunning, right? And this is on a steam engine. This is a tourist train, and it takes you through the valley, kind of up on the ridge a little bit. Yeah, just incredibly green. And of course, coming from the prairies, this is not the sight that you get every day. There's a waterfall across the way there. It's just absolutely stunning. So yeah, that's going to be my best view from a train, I'd have to say.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. Do we have other thoughts? Do we have other things we need to talk about?
I do. I got one thing. I do.
Okay.
If you want to see. So I was on the Toronto biking subreddit, as you are. It happens, right? And I came across a video and I was like, this just sparked my brain a little bit. And it's a mini wug mug I need to talk about. So this is somewhere in Toronto where, if you're not watching this, I'll kind of explain. This is like a bikeway, greenway, bike street, whatever you want to call it, where it's one way for car traffic, and then there's a bi-directional lane for cyclists, essentially. So here's a rear-facing camera from one cyclist. You can see another cyclist, and then behind him you see this pickup truck, no patience at all, goes into the opposing direction bike lane, zooms past this, must get in front of syndrome, almost stops at a stop sign, and then continues forward. It just reminded me that we really need to beef up these greenways. I think they're completely inadequate. And I've talked to some planners here in Vancouver and some engineers, and they think I'm out to lunch. They think our greenways are fantastic. And this is my own footage here on 7th Avenue, which is another greenway. And it's not aggressive drives or anything. I've definitely seen that happening. I've been aggressively passed on a lot of the streets here, the bike routes. And this is a bike route where a car turns onto the bike route and I'm behind them for several blocks. And this happens all the time. And it always comes back to the infrastructure. If we want to change the traffic patterns within our cities and make them safer for certain people on certain ways, we need concrete. We need stuff. See here, I passed through a modal filter, which is where the car finally has to turn off of that street. My extreme take is we should have modal filters on basically every single intersection if we want good bike routes. It needs to be completely inconvenient for a car to drive down there if we want to make them safe for all ages and abilities. Unless you have business on one particular block of a bike street, there should not be any car there. That's my take. That's my extreme take about these things. We need bollards, we need modal filters, we need traffic diversions if we want safe places.
I think your take is completely reasonable. I mean, this is it. Like, I'm seeing this greenway, and I mean, it's pretty indicative of a we slapped down a few modal filters and some sharrows and some signs, and we were calling it a great greenway, but
and that's the case anywhere you go.
Yeah, no, it's pretty common. Even here in Portland, we have a lot of really great greenways, and then we have some ones that are fairly similar to this. So, yeah, we really. If we want to call a thing a street an actual greenway, we have to reserve it for local traffic only on cars, and then allow micromobility and pedestrians to use it with ease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen these in different places. Particularly, I'm thinking in Seattle, where they basically emulated the same style we have in Vancouver, where when you get close to the core of the city, they're okay. Usually you have a modal filter every 4 blocks if you're lucky. But as soon as you get anywhere away from the downtown core, there's one street I know you can go all the way from basically this street here and go south all the way to the bottom of Vancouver without a single modal filter, no traffic calming whatsoever. It's basically just a street with sharrows on the ground, and that's not good enough. So
no, it's not.
You have to design for the behavior you want.
Yeah.
If you are designing a road and saying this road is meant for this behavior, it doesn't matter what you say. It has to actually behave that way and encourage that behavior. The video that you showed at the very beginning, the truck punish passing you guys on the edge like that, that's wild. That's dangerous behavior.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that when I'm driving, it's frustrating to be behind somebody who is going slower than I am, whether that person is in a car or on a bicycle or whatever, right? I can appreciate the frustration. The solution to that is not to do something dangerous. The solution to that is to build a better street, is to build your street in a way that you don't end up stuck behind somebody on a bicycle because they have their own space.
Yeah. And
right.
You shouldn't even end up there. Before I got my radar gun, I would be on my electric scooter, which is capable of going up to 50 kilometers per hour. I drive it responsibly. I usually keep it around 30. When I still rode it, it's dead. It's been dead for 6 months now. But I would occasionally, when this would happen and to be a speeding driver, I would try to keep up with them. And most times they'd be outrunning me. So I'd be going 50K down one of these 30 kilometer per hour streets being outrun. But now if I go out with my speed gun, it takes me no longer than 60 seconds to catch a car that's speeding and maybe a few minutes to catch one going 50 or 60 down one of these 30 kilometer per hour streets. And it's really frustrating. And I don't want to blame the individual drivers. Like today I was coming home from work on my bike and my colleague left at the same time in his car, and he lives in the same neighborhood as I do. And he followed me for half the route. on the bike routes through the neighborhoods and then past me and continue on the bike routes all the way home. And I'm just like, this isn't, what is this? It's not a bike route. It's not a bike route if you could drive it all the way 5 kilometers through the city. It's nonsense. So yeah, I'm just upset about these. They need to be better.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
sorry. It's not on the drivers. If it's convenient, they're going to take it. I probably might too if I was in my car. If it's easier that way than going down the other clogged streets, why wouldn't they? That's just the way it goes. It's the path of least resistance. That's why rat running happens. The planners need to put the concrete down to prevent the rat running.
Yeah. And I also think, you know, when we're talking about speed in neighborhoods, the experience of speed is different depending where you are in relation to the object. If you are a cyclist, I have been passed by buses and cars, and you know, people driving the buses and cars who by no means meant to do anything that would make me feel unsafe, right? Like I don't believe people have that motive. I don't think people are trying to do that. But if you have that experience where you get passed by somebody and it feels a little bit too close, it's scary. Like it's actually terrifying. And we've talked about that on the show before. And I think it's important for everybody to experience that. I think it's important for people to get that perspective. We've shared that video on the show before of the bus drivers on a stationary bicycle while a bus passes them too closely. And again and again and again, the solution is to just have separate infrastructure. The solution is to just give people who are using electric motorized like mobility scooters and people on bicycles and people on scooters and whatever it is that you're using to get around, to give them like a separate space, because that's a low mass and mid speed lane, right? That's what we're talking about when we talk about wheeling lanes. It's a low mass and low speed lane or mid speed lane, faster than walking, slower than driving.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
We need to separate it. Willie has a good point here in the chat. They say it really is crazy how it's just ingrained in people that you can go 10 miles per hour or however many kilometers per hour over the speed limit. Yeah. And this is something I actually found a comment on, I think it was the London, Ontario subreddit the other day. And I posted on the FCars subreddit, even though it got taken down, which is fair enough. But somebody was asking, what speed should I drive in the city in London, Ontario? And the top comment was, I will generally do 10 kilometers over the posted speed limit in the city and 20 over on the 401, the highway. And I was like, that's what people do. I expected people to say that and upvote that comment. But what got me was the next one replying to that. 10 over, except in neighborhoods and school zones. And I was like, nice. And then they said, you shouldn't go anything more than 5 kilometers over in those areas. I was like, damn it. They almost had me. God, they almost got me. Oh, man. No, you should still speed in school zones. I was like, come on. You couldn't even be like, don't speed in school zones. It's like, no, 5 over. We'll do 5 over there.
5 over is fine.
Yeah.
What's interesting too, I was chatting with a lady in my area. She had, her and her neighbors had called Calgary police to come out and do a speed gun check on people driving down the street on their local road, right? And Calgary police come out and they're standing there with their speed gun, and they invite the residents to use the speed gun. They show them how it works. They show them all of this stuff. And people would say, oh man, did you see how fast that guy was going? It's the speed limit. They were going the speed limit. It's because when you're outside of the vehicle, the speed limit, 50 kilometers an hour, 40 kilometers an hour, whatever it is, it feels so much faster to you when that big mass is passing by you. And so, yeah, having that perspective on it and trying to experience the city in different ways and making sure that everybody kind of gets that experience in different ways. That's why, like in the Netherlands, everybody owns a car in the Netherlands. Tons of people own cars in the Netherlands, but they all also understand what it's like to bike and to walk and to take transit, right? And we need to broaden our perspective so that we can appreciate the way other people are getting around our city.
Absolutely. 100%
Definitely.
agree. Yep. But 50 kilometers per hour on a residential street is too fast.
No, it's great speed. 10 over is actually ideal.
Yeah, you go to 60 at least. You don't hold anybody up. Oh,
Yeah.
just the
Yeah, and Austin in the chat mentions it really heightens the fact that deaths rise exponentially from 20 miles per hour
Yeah.
/ 30 kilometers per hour.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
something like 90% survival rate at 30 kilometers per hour, 20 miles per hour. And then once you get up to 50 kilometers per hour, it like drops precipitously. And then above that, it's just gone.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think once you get above I think it's like 80 kilometers an hour, it's like 0.
Yeah. Well, this has been good, grand, and groovy. This was fun. Any final thoughts, Nick, Ethan?
No.
No.
Just glad
All right.
just glad you're here, Alex, for at least one more day.
I
This
know.
is true.
Is it the last time we're going to be all together?
This could be. This
Oh my
could be.
God, guys.
Poor
This is
Willie
so
sitting
sad.
in the chat, coming in a little bit later, is thinking, "What? Wait, what's happening?"
He'll be back
Yeah,
on. He'll be
I'll
back.
be
Yeah,
back
he'll
on
be-
the show. I'll be
he'll be-
back on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit.
If you want
Yeah.
Alex to be on the show, vote for whoever his opponent is in Ward 11. That's what you got to do. Okay?
Well-
Make sure he does.
No, you want me to come back as a city councilor
Yes.
so that you get clout as a show,
Exactly.
and then you can say
Exactly.
you had a sitting elected official on the podcast.
There we go.
True.
That makes it a pretty big deal. I'll be back on the show.
He'll be back.
I'll probably be back on the show before the election too. But yeah, I won't be here next week, and then Sully will start soon enough. But it was good, grand, and groovy, guys. Thanks for all the memories.
We can't wait to make more. This
Yeah.
is not the end.
Exactly.
This is not the
It's
end.
the end.
It's
for
not
now.
the end, it's the beginning.
It's the beginning. Yeah. It's the
Oh,
beginning.
Jack is
Everything's a new
It's
start.
the end of the beginning.
Ja-
In the beginning of
Jack
the end.
is here too. Well, we should give a shout out to everybody in the chat here: Willie, Jack, Austin, Skitch, and Jen. Thanks for joining us, guys, in the live chat here. If you want to join the live chat, you can go to patreon.com/radiofreeurbanism and check us out there. Support us for as little as $1 a month. Join the live chat. Join the Discord server. And Austin says, "But who will give us the Green Line news?" I'm sure I will be back. Maybe we'll do a live show from the Green Line when it's built with me as a city councilor. How's that sound?
I hope so. It better be.
That'd be rad. That'd
Yeah.
be super rad. All right, Ethan, take us away.
All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this wonderful episode of Radio Free Urbanism. If you didn't hear before, you can become a patron for just $1 a month by checking us out over on patreon.com/radiofreeurbanism. And you'll get benefits like access to the live show, access to the Discord, and of course, early access to the show a day before it comes out to everybody else. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Nick, where can the good people find you?
My name is Nick Laporte. You can find me at Nick the Door on YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. How about Alex? Where can the good people and the bad people find you?
All sorts of people, all varieties of people can find me at Humane Cities on YouTube and Instagram. And if you want to follow my campaign, head over to alexwilliamsyyc.ca or wherever, wherever people do things. Alex Williams YYC. That's my handle. Ethan, what about you?
The good people can find me on any platform at Climate and Transit, and the bad people can find me over on Patreon at Climate and Transit. Folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Radio Free Urbanism, and as always, train good, car bad.
2 wheels good.
And feet first.